Series for Luke Shuey.
Thanks, Baz. There he is with the ice on the ankle. 1 quarter of football left. Just need to finish the deal here, the West Coast. Seen a few big leads slip. Comebacks have been in vogue in this round and this year. A few of them haven't quite been successful at the end, but teams can at least get themselves some momentum heading into the next week rather than being crushed. And the West Coast Eagles right now simply want to crush the Brisbane Lions. Put them away with the first goal of the last term. Robinson, Martin, Rockcliffe got it from Cutler, gives it to Claybeams. Spears it wide. Here's Green, didn't get a chance at it. Wellingham was riding him.
Now this will be interesting, Jono, for the Eagles. They've got the game where they want the game. If their mids do the running for the first 15 minutes, they can put this game completely to bed. If they slightly, just 5%, take their foot off the pedal, put the cue in the rack, whatever cliche you want to roll out, they can get 2 or 3 quick goals, the Lions, and then all of a sudden the Eagles midfield will have to work 3 times as hard to keep them from being overrun.
And you think that would be the message from Adam Simpson at 3/4 time there, and that he'd be saying, look, we've done this, but my whole judgment is what you do in the next 20 minutes of play to seal this victory away from home.
Duggan, the sub, who's now on with that Shuey injury, and the ball thumped out on the wing.
Big opportunity for you, Duggan. He's got the side is in control. He's got a quarter and a bit to put his talents on display, and he started well with a nice contested ball win. This bloke's done well. It's been a real positive for them, and has your man Duggan.
That's lace out to Kennedy.
That's exactly what the Eagles want. I reckon you could hear the scream over in Western Australia right now. They're just dying to get a few more A-grade kicks into their side, and they look like they may have found one on first examination.
From the Western under-18s, from Bacchus Marsh, in fact. And here he is, Duggan.
Left footer,
bang,
lace out. That is just Jack Darling be sitting home saying, let me get a piece of that action.
So 3 goals for so far for Josh Kennedy. From just outside the 50. Came back a little, but not enough.
He's got that stutter back a bit today. It hasn't been there as much this year for Kennedy. He's just gone away from what has, I think, worked for him in the early part of the year in terms of his run-up as a goal-kicking routine.
Nice punch from Schofield.
Yeah, they needed him to lift his rate, and he has this year in the absence of, well, you can list the long list of defenders for the West Coast who are out, but I suppose the main thing is who's in, and Schofield is in and playing well. Yeah, a couple of skip steps. Yeah, you're right. It is the little ant's nest.
And that's his trademark, isn't it? But early in, even pre-game when you watch him and early in the season, he's been taking longer strides rather than the little stutters as he's coming in to kick.
Still leads in the race for the Coleman, Josh Kennedy.
Interesting lead, a bit early, but he's been rewarded with the Shepherd.
So like that.
He certainly came across the line.
He almost tunneled him. Kennedy flies. Lacroix tried to keep it alive. But they'll be happy with minutes off the clock here as much as scores, the West Coast. They've got bigger fish to fry as this season progresses. The Brisbane Lions, they will be, well, they lose this game, the 2 Queensland teams will be last and second last on the AFL ladder. Duggan breaks free. Cutler caught by Lacroix.
Tommy Rockcliffe only the 13 disposals in his return game, coming back from the ribs and the punctured lung. But it's just not enough ball in terms of he's down in numbers. Redden's only had the 13 today. Claybeams that he's had the 13 disposals. Dane Beams up to 17. These guys are up high 20s, 30s. Christensen only had the 11. So the key players just haven't found enough ball.
Hasn't really found his form yet, Christensen. Taking a while to settle in.
You think he will take a while to settle in? New club, Jared? Is that something that we seem to find with a lot of players these days. And
well, it depends on his work rate, Dwayne. If he gets his work rate up, I'm sure that it'll be a shorter period of time. But Christensen's and Lyons haven't really worked for a couple of thousand years, have they? Took me a while to get that one out.
That's all right. I'll keep laying you straight, man.
Even Baz enjoyed that one.
Yeah. Cutler. Martin.
Play on, you're on. Play on.
Dolby. Paparone.
Slow.
He was there, Paparone, and it was only there for the instant turn around and play on. Clay beams inside. Adcock. Caught. Trouble. Lacroix. They're going to stroll in here. Lysette. Oh, it bounced unkindly, but they've still got the numbers. Towed away. Mitch Robinson, not sure what he was doing there. Golby. Here is Christensen with the Lions. Straight down the middle. Green. Jono's man. Thought he should have started. Nice clutch from Dame Beams. Centering kick. Rich flies from 4 deep.
Well read.
Here he is. Green. And he bounces it through. Where was he?
Well, it was a good transition from the Lions, and it's given the supporters something to cheer about. But what I really liked was the reading of the play. There's Green early. He goes out wide. This one goes to the top of the square, but it's the full forward. I think it was McStay at full forward. He reads it best. As it comes through there, he's on his bike. And he just releases nicely to Josh Green, who flips it round the corner. He's saying, Justin, I want another game next week.
This way, guys. Rovers out quickly.
Could he be the life of the party? I've needed someone to do something sometime. And as the sub, it's a bit hard when you come on this late. Rockcliffe, there's a rib tester.
That's in the back.
He was cheese grated into the deck. He's going to have to pick the grass out from his teeth.
Thank you. 1 metre step, 1 metre.
Yeah, that's in the bag in any definition, I would have thought, Dwayne.
Rich flicks it up. Robertson. Lewis Taylor have got some momentum suddenly. Lewis might go for home. On the left. Ugly.
Really ugly. Just couldn't quite get himself balanced on either side. He was looking to get onto that right. They defended it well, the Eagles. They got Nat Nui straight on top of his head, flick it over the boundary line.
Okay, see if he does it. Might go for the big jump. Nat Nui in style.
Right there, step, right on the mark. Moving on. Play on.
Crowd here was trying not to cheer that, but they just couldn't help it.
Play on.
Rosa. Yo bangs it long. McGuinness. It's knocked away. Paparone. Buick. Corral. Paparone. Coming at him. Cutler. Rockcliffe. Redden. Rich. Runners to the open side. This looks better for the Lions. Where was this earlier? Adcock.
Got the big ruckman.
He has Stephen Martin. Drops in the hole and held it long enough.
Well done, Martin. I hope he's got up uninjured. He's grabbing his left hamstring.
They kicked an important goal earlier to keep them in touch. Told to go. Gave it to Rich. And gives them some sort of sniff.
Well, there's one of the great weapons in AFL football, and yet we've only seen it really on display once today. He's had a few opportunities to launch the big one. He's kicked a couple of goals, but you just like to see this from outside 50 because it puts the defenders under all sort of psychological pressure. And he's happy there that they could have got caught underneath, and just a nice little transition. Straight through. Beautiful play.
That's the relax you're talking about that Adam Simpson wouldn't like as coach. Early in the game, that wouldn't have happened because they were on and switched on. You watch that vision there. He's kicking the goal. Hearns walking back as skipper, just nice and casual, just not even worried about what was going to happen around. So just that urgency needs to stay there for West Coast.
McInnes stands under this, and he's got it.
Well, this has been a fine display, terrific display.
First game, he was a pick 28 back in 2011, as we mentioned earlier. It's his fourth season on the list, Fraser McInnes. Great story of perseverance. 21 years of age, about to turn 22. And he's got a man's body. He's used it pretty well today. Just misses.
15 marks between himself and Josh Kennedy this afternoon.
Well, it's been a tough forward line to break into when you think about what's been down there over the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, they've been playing Nat Nui, and Cox has been resting down there.
Jack Darling.
McGovern was a forward. Yeah, when McGovern was a forward, he looked like he was going to be a forward for life, and now he looks like a defender for life. His pick-off marking is superb. Paparone. The crowd is starting to find some voice.
Well, they're probably 1 goal away, Dwayne, in a hurry. 1 goal in a hurry away from it not being unrealistic that they could make a challenge. But they have got to sort out some of their kicking, in particular Paparone.
Gardner wide, Adcock and Lysette. Lysette did pretty well until he gave it up to Robertson. Back inside to Buick. Adcock. Lewis Taylor. And use his speed if he wants to. Takes on Yo, gets around him. Now just needs to hit a chest. He goes with a handball instead. Rockcliffe sits it up in hope. And Duggan smashes it across the line with ease.
No need to go out to Rockcliffe with that handball. Skipper's yelling for it, yes, but no need to go there. You take on the player, you get yourself in a dangerous spot. Lewis Taylor had the chance to use his leg and get it into a better spot inside forward 50.
His skipper needs to say, kick it long,
right.
kick it to the spot, not give it to me. Nat Nui. That's the hard part. You want to get involved in the play, but you need to do what's best for the team, and sometimes it is not get the ball.
Thanks. Got it. Thanks. Got it. Wait. Out.
Umpires have done a pretty good job today. Robert O'Gorman, Robert Findlay, Andrew Mitchell. I saw Jordan Bannister out there for a while too, actually. It might have been a change of umpires here.
You look at the tackle count in this quarter, it's 22-5 in favour of the Brisbane Lions.
Britis. Nat Nui, or he fended off. Nelson.
Again, Nelson's handball. Just got to be sharper. Get it so the player doesn't have to change stride or reach and put his body at risk.
Yo. Butler. Gaff.
Been tireless, Gaff.
Pritis. Kennedy's roaming inside 50. The lead comes, and there it is. Turns his back on it, and then he turns around and sees that Rose is running on. Tried to shimmy, and it's just a Sunday afternoon stroll in the park.
Good transition from one end of the ground to the other. Level resistance probably 3 out of 10, but a good finish there by Rosa. Just put a little bit of off spin on it.
He did well to get plenty on that, didn't he, with Gardner closing him up the way that he did.
Let's just have a look at the Lions defenders doing the goalkeeping. We won't on that tight shot. There were just too many players not working hard enough.
It's a really good lead from Kennedy, running back towards goal. All he done was point a couple of times. Clark had his back to the play, and it was just a layup little kick. It was beautiful execution.
Rich attacks it. It is in turn attacked.
Well, it's all guns blazing next week for the two sides in Queensland. Wayne, you've mentioned it a few times. Doesn't matter that they're both on the bottom and winless. The victor will take all the spoils, and I can guarantee you the crisis flag will be flying high above the loser.
Yeah, it's not just about who is the best team in Queensland, it's about who is the worst team in Queensland, and no one wants that title. Goal be caught by Duggan. Magnificent tackle. because both teams will be winless after 4 rounds.
Just spoke to Daniel Merritt at the back at half-time, and he's a huge loss. I mean, the Brisbane Lions they're skinny, undermanned at the present time, haven't got big skull, haven't got talls at either end of the ground with any genuine experience, but he's still a couple of weeks away, so it's exposed them early in the piece. But the season's not lost for the Brisbane Lions. They're still a couple of years away from gathering enough forces to compete at the top end.
Back 2 metres, Dave.
But the projections of them making the 8
That's it.
and maybe a year or so top 4, they're still a fair way away from that.
Big punt inside 50. Kennedy about to pounce on the crumb. Good tackle by Redden. Critter swoops on it. Rosa, centering kick. Hill jumps and he plucked that. Played onto advantage and drives it through. Party time for the West Coast Eagles.
He's capitalised with the limited opportunities that have come his way today. Josh Hill was able to get in behind the defence on one occasion, running to an easy goal. And this one here is just a good effort. He is an excellent mark overhead.
Would you play on there, John?
I'm not sure thought he was going to be paid the mark.
Paid the mark. Yeah, that'd be the only reason behind playing on in that situation. Because normally you take 30 seconds off the clock in the last quarter, kick the goal.
Speaking of legends, there's one in the back there. Dean Cox, the ruck coach.
And how important it has been for him to be the coach for a guy like Nick Natanui, who is now flying as a ruckman. Long bomb inside 50 and McStay gets a chance to kick his second. Count up clock, as you can see. We've had a few technical issues here at the Gabba today.
That's your line. Push out behind, Chris.
There might still be 11 or 12 minutes left in this contest. Has a chance to cut it back to 40 points. And that's been the tale of their day. Just wasted opportunity after opportunity. And the pressure's never really come on the West Coast Eagles after the West Coast, to be joined us late, opened up a 42-point margin in the second term. Right now it stands at 45. McGuinness, first game's been a good one. Wrapped up here, goes to ground.
This way.
The West Coast Eagles have had their own injury issues to cope with this year, but they'd be reasonably content to be 2-2 after 4 weeks, heading into next week's clash against Greater Western Sydney, which for the record is at Domain Stadium in Perth, so they'll have a slight advantage there.
It's good recovery, Dwayne. That was savage early in the piece, losing arguably the best defender in the game in McKenzie. And there's their next 4, GWS, Port Adelaide, Gold Coast and St Kilda. The next month is a big one for them.
McGovern drops back. He couldn't mark it. Strong tackle late, but no prior opportunity there. Ball up.
Good tackle.
Umpire giving a bit of encouragement. Good tackle.
A couple of good duels next week, isn't there? McGovern will have to go to McCarthy or Cameron.
Yep.
Christensen. And it's a goal. Out of nothing.
Well, they're trying to generate some enthusiasm amongst the young group, and that's going to be all important, just to keep positive through the week. This is all about next week for all the players. Get off the ground, get recovered. But I guess with just still a gettable target, they'll be still hoping, Jono, for a miracle.
From the restart, Natanui flies high. Can they get the clearance here, the Lions? Sheet caught, wrapped up. Martin had a piece of it. Duggan, Rosa, turnover. Adcock breaks his way clear. Heads long, Schofield jumped on, got a free.
Just going for a little bit too much, but it was worth having a crack.
He's fine.
He just couldn't get the knee up, could he? The knee got caught on the glute of Schofield and just put him off balance.
It's a handy word to use sometimes on TV, glute. Can get stuck.
About to tick into time on, final term. The conditions have really been perfect for football. It's been warm, as Barry Hall's told you, but surface of the Gabba is magnificent, and the players should be ready for slick footy on a carpet-like ground like this at this stage of their preparation. And the West Coast Eagles hoping to run this out, get no more injuries. Shuey, doubt for next week.
It's going to be interesting to see how Adam Simpson rates his performance. He was very animated at half-time, and with a bit more class from the Brisbane Lions, they've got control of this game in certain patches, so it's going to be interesting to see how he dissects his game.
How would you rate it, Baz?
I reckon they've done what they've had to do. They've come over here. It's a tough trip. It's tough conditions. They've done what they've had to do, and nothing too spectacular.
I think they'll be happy with their set plays, with the execution of their set structures and plays today. Their ball use, general ball use.
That's a ripper from Beams.
Hit the post. Oh. But their general ball use at times, especially in that first half, that's why it was a bit animated.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't great, especially coming out of defence. They were just lucky that the Lions just couldn't capitalise on any mistake that they made.
So Butler back to Hearn. So against the breeze, they've done the 1-2. Still get it to the wing, although well read by Gardner.
They've got some stars in the future in these key positions. One of them's Gardner. I've liked some of his work. He reads the play well and he attacks the ball. But they just need a few more kilos and probably another 40 or 50 games.
Definitely run out of run at the moment, the West Coast, and that was brilliant from Duggan. He split the middle at two players, went and got it himself, the fresh sub, in Kennedy's direction, paddled it to his own disadvantage, really caught in the hill direction. Duggan goes back in, gives it to Kennedy again, barrels it towards goal. Lacroix just stumped away by Cutler.
Good job there by Cutler. Held him off, had plenty of the ball. 30 possessions now. It's a big return. And he's got his efficiency up significantly on what it was. 20% midway through the second quarter. It's now finished with 63%.
Robertson, marker a free kick. Running with the mullet this year, down the back.
On there.
Just the required 15, you'd think. Cutler.
Contested possession has been a real issue for the Brisbane Lions this season, and it's probably what you guys made talking about. They look very light, inexperienced, and sides who are pretty weathered. They're just beating them up in the contested situation.
Not sure what that kick was meant to do, but it certainly wasn't meant to do that. Hearn might be within range if this was the first minute of the game.
I think one of the big positives for them, Bazza, is the emergence of a couple of players. McGuinness and Duggan have been pretty impressive in their first showing.
Yeah, they have. And look, these young kids, as you said, the scoreboard's pretty lopsided, so it's under tough conditions to come in and have an impact.
But it's just there, we've seen it all day, and Adcock gets the handball there from Golby, but it's a nothing handball. They need to start getting those handballs on the 45 where they can actually break open the man on the mark. It makes it too easy for the man on the mark just to come across and put the next pressure on the handball received. Then it's a pressured kick rather than splitting it with a bit more speed on a 45.
Meanwhile, McGovern has intercepted another mark.
And he sits it up high. Kennedy's up. Not quite. Nat Nui stayed down. Sheed, not sure he picked it up at all, was tackled. Taylor, and now they're away. There's open space ahead. Adcock to Lewis Taylor. It's got Zorko running for him. Gee, made Zorko go back and get it. Now Zorko, here's your man Green. Already given them one in the last term. A dance step, 1-2 around Nelson. Why wasn't he on earlier?
Well, what he does is he'll kick you 3 or 4 a week, potentially. So he's come on. Look, it's late. Yeah, a bit of junk time stuff going on. But, you know, he's the sub. He's got to come on. You've got to have an impact on the scoreboard, I think, if you come on as the sub, especially in his role. He's done that in this last quarter with his 2 goals. But it was better run from the back half, and it was better handballs to position rather than just racking up stats, getting easy ones coming from behind.
Set up. Here we go.
Next 4 for the Lions. Well, we've spoken about next week already against the Gold Coast. That's going to be a big Q clash. Carlton, Port Adelaide, and then the Bombers at Etihad.
Brutus to Nat Nui. Duggan didn't want to waste it. It's a wobbler and almost yo. Cripps picked that up on the run on the left. Just misses.
He's done well to get through. He's laboured a little bit. He's lost a little bit of zip, but still made a good contribution, Cripps.
So you think that's a corky that he got earlier, and how will he go next week with that?
Magic town, Dwayne. They're still alive. Get them going. Bit of spray.
1 metre forward if you want it.
Give it a rub.
Run it out.
Oh, yes. Those were the days.
Well, we've come a long way since you put Denker rub on it straight away.
Nat Nui forced to fist it from 4 deep, and McGovern couldn't mark one. Good pick up on the run from Wellingham against the traffic. Butler. And he's about to reload them. Long. Kennedy caught in the middle of 4. Hill. Beautiful front and square Crum. Delightful. He's got 3.
I'm pleased he's back in the side. He's a real entertainer, this guy, because he does things slightly differently to most other players. But he's got so much class. Have a look at this pick up and then execute the kick. It's great to have a target, and that's what the Lions are looking for. That's just beautiful. Front and centre, as the Dennis Bagan, I think, first called it. And just picked it up so cleanly.
Probably more see him as a marking forward, don't we? But
he's an all-rounder.
That was pure class.
And the timing to hit that right spot at the right time.
Beautiful.
At full speed.
Bring it back.
This could still turn into a nice percentage boost for the West Coast, but it's not going to be as big a percentage boost as it looked like it was going to be at one stage. We're looking at a 10-goal plus win. Injury in the middle of the ground as well.
Such a dangerous game to come to, though, this ground. The Lions are generally a 4 or 5 goal better side at this ground than other opposition or other sides when they play away.
Let it go.
And when you have to travel 6 hours, Jono, and you're playing in the heat, skipper's back on the side. There's the danger signs everywhere. I don't think Adam Simpson would have slept that well last night.
Strip tackle was beautiful from Butler. Yeah, this is the longest trip in the AFL. Coming here from Perth to play. Although we just came back from Wellington, of course. Flick to the back. McGovern.
He needs to be dropped. He dropped that ball then, Jono. That's the first intercept mark he's dropped.
Yeah, but good enough to get onto it. Is that a good last quarter, Duggan, since coming on?
He's only played 17 games, Jeremy McGovern. Injured his knee last week, and we thought he was going to be out this week, perhaps, but he's proven durable as well. Good flying grab.
He's running from Yo. It's about 2 sizes too big for him. If he dropped down a size, he's going to make himself look just a little bit fitter.
Don't see a lot of 30-game All-Australians either, do we? But he could be on track. It's only early in the season, but
in the votes.
He's certainly done everything right so far. Clay beams. Lewis Taylor. Good shepherd from Redden. Gave Lewis Taylor the release. Has to wait for the cavalry. Not a lot to go to.
Mackenzie comes back next year. Their goal-to-goal line is very strong. Very strong. And that's what they need to build on. They've got enough young talent on the flanks now across the wings.
Well,
exciting for the Eagles.
You got Darling.
Brown as well.
Brown's the other one.
That's it.
They've got
That's it, Shona.
Scott Selwood.
Scott Selwood.
Right. Come back. He's not a defender, of course, but he does defensively run the midfield well. Kennedy picks it up. Gives it to Butler, and he can get on the score sheet. Got a nice holiday up here on the beautiful Queensland sunshine for the West Coast Eagles this afternoon. 30 minutes gone, final term, and this looks like being a spanking.
He's had a great game, Butler. 27 disposals, going at 96% with his disposals of those 27. He's had 11 marks to match, and now played mostly in the back end and been able to run through and get the scoreboard. Defensive goals today. Butler's got one. You've got... Just trying to see here who the other one was. Elliot Yo's got the one. And Jackson Nelson was the young player I was looking for. Shepherd as well. Yeah, there's the other one. But Jackson Nelson was the player I was looking for on the stat sheet, who's got the one goal as well. So they've got the 4 goals from defensive players today.
Yeah, they'll be pleased with that. Callum Sinclair's an interesting one. I'm told part-time ruckman last year, had some good games in the ruck, can play forward. But I've heard he's been playing some key defensive positions. So maybe they've got another one that they're going to experiment with in the near future.
This is exactly what they would have been hoping for, the West Coast Eagles. Come up here, put their foot down early, silence the crowd in the opening minutes of the game, never really give the Brisbane Lions a sniff, and have the game in their control for 3.5 quarters. In the back. And they're going to win running away. They've kicked the last 2 goals of the game. And they've got a chance to kick another one here. Butler's drifted down again.
He's had a big day, Butler.
He could go again from the paint. Simply delightful to watch.
He's had a very big day. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he featured in your votes, Jono. Coming off that half-back line, he's had 28 possessions. He's gone at an effective disposal rate at 96%.
Okay, who do you go, Butler or Gaff?
You're the one
in the votes. Give me a Butler or Gaff. Split those two for me, because for me, I think McGovern has to get votes. I think Kennedy has to get votes on today's performance. So I need to split Gaff or Butler.
I thought you would have put Green in. Yeah, you love him.
Just need 4-quarter performances. Watch out for the next couple of weeks.
Biggest margin of the game now, 52 points. And the siren can't sound quickly enough for the Brisbane Lions. Big, long launch. Kennedy under it. And almost the mark to Yo. Spins out of the traffic. He bursts away. Doesn't get the bounce.
Big game from Yo. Impressed with him. He was good here when he was playing across the half-back line. They've been desperate to get him into the midfield. And only the injuries to 3 of their defenders, or 2 injuries and 1 retirement, which was caused by injury. Bo Waters has exposed them big time down back. Schofield coming back was a real help.
Don't hold, Sharon. Taylor.
Siren sounds. As much as it's been a disappointing afternoon for the home team, the Brisbane Lions, and the fans that have come to the Gabba this afternoon. And the story up here will be that after 4 rounds, both Queensland teams are winless. It is about the West Coast Eagles and their surge, perhaps, in 2015. Kicked the last 3 goals of the game to break out to a 53-point margin at the final siren.